Hello, everybody. I am so glad to be here tonight to talk to you a little bit about transitioning from middle school sports to high school sports. A little bit about myself. I am the Director of Athletics here in Duval County Public Schools. I've been in this position for 11 years. And prior to that, 20 years as a high school athletic director right here in Jacksonville. Just some professional background. I served as the president of the Florida Athletic Coaches Association. I was the first female in the state for this position. I was also just recently named the National Athletic Director of the Year for the National High School Athletic Coaches Association. I also serve as the secretary and the higher ed chairperson for the FIAAA, which is our Florida Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association. And in 2019, I was named the State Athletic Director of the Year. I also serve on the FHSA's Leadership Council, as well as walk-off charities locally here in town. I am married to my husband, Robert, of 30 years, and we have 3 daughters, all who have played sports here in Duval County Public Schools. So a little bit about high school athletic participation and even our middle school, because you're transitioning from our middle school athletic conference to our high school, which is going to be the Gateway Conference. And I just thought it was important that you saw the breakdown of the student athlete population to our enrollment. And as you can see, it's about a quarter, not only total student athletes, but in high school as well as middle school. We have close to 8,000 student athletes in high school, and that makes up our JV and varsity athletes. And then we have a little less than 6,000 student athletes in middle school. And so that's close to 15,000 total student athletes in the entire district. Some of the sports that are offered in high school, if you look at the bottom part of the screen, you can see the 13 sports that are offered in middle school, and I've broken it down fall, winter, and spring. And if you look up top, then that's going to show you the additional sports that your child will have an opportunity to try out for as far as high school is concerned. So you can see the fall sports that are listed, and then the winter sports as well as the spring sports. And I do encourage you to make sure that you are communicating with your athletic director at your school, and even your head coaches and assistant coaches, to get all the information that you possibly can. On this screen, we're going to talk a little bit about getting to know the high school athletic staff, reaching out to the athletic director to find out about upcoming parent meetings. A lot of times there are meetings over the summer. Schools also offer physicals. They'll bring in the St. Vincent's bus. Sometimes they'll have physicians come in and give physicals, as well as spirit days and just pep rallies to give more information specific about the school, like starting dates and things like that. When you are looking for more specific dates for your particular sport, you'll want to reach out to your head coach or assistant coach at the school. And this is to find out about summer conditioning, any workouts that they may potentially have in the weight room, summer camps, anything that they would potentially be doing over the summer, because we need to make sure that you get added into the distribution list of communication to parents. And then also, it's extremely important that you get to know the high school athletic trainer. All of our high schools have full-time athletic trainers, and they're here to help with the safety of our student athletes. They make sure that we have emergency action plans for all of our facilities, as well as working on concussion protocols, first aid, CPR, things of that nature. So it's really important that you participate in your child's athletic program by getting to know these individuals. This is the required paperwork for high school. Not much different than middle school. The first and most important form that you'll need is the EL2. You will hear this called a lot of different things. You'll hear it called just an athletic physical. You may hear it called the PPE, the pre-participation exam. But at the top of the form, it does say EL2, and it is an FHSAA form. And we'll talk a little bit more about the FHSAA later on in the presentation. This form is going to be a new form. You do not need to get the new form until your physical expires. So all physicals last 365 days. So once your child's physical expires from middle school, then when you transition to get that new physical, you will need to make sure that you are using the new form, and that is available on our athletic website, and I'll show you that a little bit later on in the presentation. The EL3 is the same form as last year, but it will need to be updated, and that is the EL3, which is the consent form. Every year, you will need to provide your insurance verification. There's no need to have a copy of your insurance. Just filling out the insurance verification will suffice. We'll also need a copy, and this will just be one time once your child starts high school. They will need to verify their age, and so a copy of the birth certificate. And the age, the cutoff date is July 1st. So no student athletes can participate in high school sports if they turn 19 prior to July 1. You'll also need to fill out a sportsmanship contract. Your student athlete, as well as yourself and the coach, will fill out that form. And then you will need your child will need a media release because there will be lots of situations where your child's picture will be on the website, it will be in media guides, it will be in programs. Potentially, there will be events that'll happen at schools where if your child's going to participate, they'll need to have that media release. So if you have any issues with that, you'll need to make sure that you talk to your high school athletic director. Then there are some forms that are special forms if your child is transferring into the school after the start of ninth grade or after the start of ninth grade. They will need a GA4 recruiting form. And basically that's saying that nobody from the school recruited your child. The EL6 is the transfer form. So if you were to transfer your student athlete from one school to the other, the child would not become eligible without an EL6 transfer, and he or she would need to meet the other minimum requirements for the transfer. The EL7 and the EL7V are our home education forms. So if you decide to transition your child from a traditional setting to home education, whether if it's in high school or middle school, you'll need those EL7 forms. And also, if you're transitioning your child from our traditional public schools to a non-member private school, then you would need the EL12. And then the last important form, if you or your child participate or attend school at a non-traditional school and you want to try out for sports at a school that's not your home zone school, then you would use the EL14, and you would use that by the section A of the EL14. You would need to fill that out. That's filled out by the parent, and then that gets submitted to our school choice office, and they fill out section B. And section B lets you and the school that you're wishing to try out for know if they have seat availability. So if there's seat availability and that form gets approved, then your child can try out at that particular school. I just wanted to pause for 1 second because a lot of times those forms, we have questions about those forms, and I may be going faster because I know it than maybe what our brains are able to process. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. So I talked a little bit about the Florida High School Athletic Association. So as you're transitioning from middle school to high school, while you're in middle school, if you participated in sports in Duval County Public Schools, then we were self-governed under the Middle School Athletic Conference. Now that we move to high school, we are governed by the Florida High School Athletic Association. And so you will see and hear a lot the FHSAA. So, what does that mean? The FHSAA is the state governing body that governs high school athletics. So, all the eligibility requirements, whether it's a 2.0, whether it's limit of eligibility, anything that has to do with high school eligibility goes underneath the FHSAA. And you can find all of those rules and publications on their website, which is listed on the screen. Once your student athlete becomes eligible, then your athletic director and the athletic trainer will enter them into home campus. That is the eligibility system for our athletic contest as well as athletic eligibility. If your particular high school partners with athletic clearance, then you will not turn in your hard papers. All of the paperwork that we just discussed, all of this paperwork will be uploaded by yourself or your student athlete on athletic clearance. And so it's just a way to keep all of the paperwork online as opposed to in folders. And then the last thing that I wanted to encourage all of our parents with regards to becoming a high school athletic parent is if you're interested in becoming official, you can do that through the Florida High School Athletic Association. I hear lots of parents in the stands calling balls and strikes, whether it's at a baseball or softball game, or offsides if it's at a soccer game, or holding if it's at a football game, and everything in between. And we are short officials, and we could definitely 100% use you. So definitely go to the FHSAA and sign up to become an official. Your student athlete will also have to have certification in these courses from the National Federation of High School Sports, the NFHS. And these are all free online courses that your student athlete can take with you, but they will also take them with their coach, and then they'll get a certificate that they'll get to print out. So a lot of times parents like to have those for their portfolio for when you get up and they're starting to become sophomores and juniors and they start to get recruited, if that's an aspiration of your student athlete. So these courses, there's a concussion course, there's a heat and hydration course, and then a sudden cardiac arrest course. So those are the required courses. And then there is also a sportsmanship course that I recommend all parents and student athletes take. If your student athlete or even a coach gets ejected from a game, then there is a required sportsmanship course that they will be required to take before they can go back on the field or the court or in the pool or on the mat, whatever it is, to participate. And there are lots of other free courses that are available through the NFHS. So if you have some time this summer, check out those courses. They are extremely educational and beneficial and will help you through these next 4 years of high school athletics. I did want to talk a little bit about our district athletic website. I have the link here in the presentation, and I'm going to just, if you give me 1 minute, I would like to go to our website to just show you a few things that I think are extremely important. This is our athletic website. And if you toggle over these top tabs, we have our frequently asked questions and a little bit about high school athletics. The contact us, if you click on this tab, it has all of our contact information. The parents tab is extremely helpful. There are quick links if you want to try to go to GoFan, the FHSAA, the NFHS, anything about sports medicine. All those quick links are right there. Again, frequently asked questions, the eligibility center, as far as if you're interested in your child starting the recruiting process, sportsmanship. You will also see student participation forms in many areas of our website under the parents tab. It's under the students tab. It's also under the quick link tab, and it's also on our homepage. And then our ticket and ticket information and prices tab. This is a very important tab, our student tab. It talks about our starting and ending dates for athletic contests. This is extremely important for our parents trying to navigate multiple kids in the family, participating in multiple sports or clubs or activities or doing things in the community. And it kind of gives you a guideline so that you know when the sports start for which season, because they do differ in high school. Some of our sports do differ in high school and middle school. For example, swim season in high school is in the fall, and swim season for middle school is in the spring. And that's because of the use of facilities. And there are a few other nuances as far as the sports are concerned, a little bit difference between high school and middle school. But the eligibility is here, as well as ACT and SAT dates, and again those participation forms. Under the staff tab, you can you can go to this tab and it will bring up all of our high school athletic directors and our athletic trainers, as well as MapQuest to the schools. So I like to point this out to our parents that are transitioning to high school, because your schedule will be about 3 times the size of what you're used to, and you may not know where all of these schools are. And you may want to know, what does my athletic director look like? Who is the athletic trainer at my school? They are all on our athletic website. And if you go to their website, they will have a lot of good information that's more specific to your school. So everything that I'm discussing with you is more like on a district level. Under programs, you can go to Gateway Conference events, and that will give you all of the dates and even our past champions of the Gateway Conference. So the next thing that I want to talk about, you've heard me allude to athletic scholarships, and I think that's extremely important. It's never too early to talk about that if that is a desire that your student athlete has. So starting in your freshman year is a great time. And I talk about athletic scholarships during this presentation because it is a wonderful time of celebration, not only for our students, but for you as parents as well, because it's all the hard work in the classroom and in their athletic venue, on top of community service and writing letters and having videos and all of that, to the culmination of signing for an athletic scholarship. Now, that's not for everybody. There's probably only about less than 10% of students that sign athletic scholarships. After 20, at the end of National Signing Day last year, we had 137, and now we are already over 150 this year for our high school student athletes. So the FHSAA works a little bit, or high school works a little bit different as far as tournaments and playoffs is concerned. So in the FHSAA, you have an opportunity to compete in the district, and that district tournament leads to regional playoff and then state championship playoff. But prior to the FHSA playoff, all of our sports in high school compete in a Gateway Conference championship. Our team sports will compete. 12 of the 17 teams make it to the Gateway Conference. And then in our individual sports like wrestling and golf and swimming and track, all of those sports compete against each other. All 17 compete for those honors. I always like to talk about successes and celebrations. This is just a few of the successes and celebrations. This right here is a student athlete. He used to be a student athlete in Duval County Public Schools. He went on to become a star athlete at the University of Florida, and then he got inducted into the University of Florida's Hall of Fame. This right here is one of our schools, got cited as the safe sports school through our national sports medicine program, and then just everything in between. I always like to remind parents about the great successes and celebrations in all levels of athletics: middle school, junior varsity sports, as well as high school sports. And gender equity is very important, and I like to take an opportunity to explain a little bit about what gender equity means. And basically, we have to have, as far as our enrollment is concerned, we have to have that many student athletes participating in sports as we do that are enrolled in our school. So, for example, if ABC High School has 55% girls enrolled in their school, then we have to have 55% girls participating in athletics. So we really try to encourage female participation, but we also do not want to discourage our male participants for participating so that we are in compliance with gender equity. We just want to make sure that we are promoting our female sports so that we can be in compliance as far as Department of Education is concerned. We have a lot of athletic facilities across the district, and they run the gamut. 187 scoreboards, 128 athletic fields. You can see all of the athletic facilities and equipment that we have across the district. So it is a lot to maintain these facilities. And you will see when you transition to high school, this is an aerial view of two of our high school athletic campuses. And there is a lot going on as far as facilities is concerned, a little bit bigger than our high schools, because some of our a little bit bigger than our middle schools, because some of our middle schools do not have baseball and softball fields. Very few have tennis courts, and some of us do not have swimming pools. So you can see the football field that also houses our soccer teams, our girls flag football teams, our boys and girls lacrosse teams, as well as boys and girls track. And then baseball and softball, boys and girls swimming, boys and girls tennis. And then our gymnasium, which hosts our volleyball programs and our boys and girls basketball programs, as well as wrestling. And then our new sport that was just added this year is girls beach volleyball. And some of those practice on campus, and a lot of them compete off campus. Today was actually our first day of district playoffs for girls beach volleyball in high school. So it was pretty exciting for some of our schools and a lot of our female student athletes. You know, high school is more about athletics, more than just academics and athletics. I strongly encourage you to make sure that your student athlete is getting involved in clubs and activities. I tried to list a few here that I think are extremely important. Getting involved with their athletic trainer if they are interested in sports medicine and maybe potentially majoring in physical therapy or sports medicine or athletic training. We do have programs for our students to become student athletic trainers. Obviously, student government and student leadership programs in our schools. 14 of our 17 high schools have a junior ROTC program, and I cannot promote that program enough. It is a phenomenal program that we are able to offer in 14 of our schools. And a lot of our student athletes are a JRTC cadet as well as a member of an athletic team. And then band, auxiliary band, cheerleading, National Honor Society. Now, I tell you all of this kind of with a grain of salt because at some point in time, we do have to make choices. And some programs will require you to be at practice every single day and don't allow for the flexibility of participating in something else that may require to be there every single day. But there are a lot of other flexible programs out there where you can do both or multiple things. So I encourage your student athlete to get involved in other things outside of athletics. I wanted to talk a little bit about our community partners. We are very blessed, not only in middle school, but in high school as well, to have these community partners. And one of our biggest community partners is JSMP, which you'll hear that a lot in high school. And that's our Jacksonville Sports Medicine program. And what that particular program is they do things, they make sure that our athletic trainers have their emergency action plans up to date. They make sure that our AEDs are in our schools and that they are at our athletic events. They work with our coaches to make sure that they're first aid and CPR certified. They do a symposium for our student athletes, for our coaches, as well as our team physicians and athletic trainers. We also have a great partnership with the Jacksonville Jaguars. You can see those things that we partner with them, as well as the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. Some more partnerships here with FCA as well as Chartwells. Our local sports radio, 1010XL, does a scholarship program where we interview student athletes weekly. And then at the end of the year, they give out two $2,500 scholarships to deserving student athletes. We also have a great partnership with High School 912, which is locally here. They do media days for our student athletes. And prior to attending media day, they will teach the student athletes about how they talk to the media, how you prepare your elevator pitch, what are things that you say. Uh, just a great partnership that we have with High School 912. They have scholarships as well as, and then they promote tournaments, lacrosse tournaments, baseball tournaments, football tournaments, everything across the city, and we're blessed to have a partnership with them. We also encourage our student athletes to get involved in the community by participating in organizations like the Dreams Come True Foundation, the Players, First Tee, and then some of the other partnerships that I've listed here on the screen that give us a lot of scholarship opportunities. And then I would be remiss if I did not talk about our local partnerships with our colleges and universities, University of North Florida, Jacksonville University, Edward Waters College, as well as FSCJ. And now I'd just like to pause if we have any questions. I am opening the floor to you guys. And while you guys are doing that, I'm going to just flip over to the last screen. Again, my name is Tammy Talley. I'm the district athletic director. I put my website underneath Duval County Public Schools, as well as my email address. And I do encourage you, if you have any questions about high school athletics, or even, you're finishing up middle school athletics, just feel free to reach out to me at my email address, tallyt@duvalschools.org. And I also encourage you to go to our website, where you can find just about everything that I discussed in this presentation. You can find on our athletic website, as well as all the celebrations and championships, middle school and high school. So if you haven't checked us out, I encourage you to do that. Well, if that's it, then I appreciate everybody stopping by this evening for our Parent Academy class, transitioning middle school sports to high school sports. Thanks a lot.